Happy Friday, Facebook. It's another edition of the SuperStar show. I was trying not to show my ghetto background right now. Jason's probably going to get mad at me for that. But anyway, I don't know about you guys, but that song gets me hype. So mad props to you, Jason, for that intro. I really feel the electricity. I'm ready to rock. I'm in the rhythm. These shows are going more frequently now. For those of you who haven't seen me in a while, I'm sure you missed me. I'm all about I got a new mantra. I mean, I've had the same one, but I'm trying to be a little more overt with it. So if you're following my Facebook lately, you're going to see all this motivational stuff, but it really has a lot to do with my brand, and it's really the believing, achieving, and succeeding mindset. So what's the stuff people are doing out there that are making them successful? And I've got an ultra successful realtor on the South Jersey side of the bridge on the show. I've been stalking this guy like I don't even know what to say, like a fanboy, I guess is the word. I've been trying to get Rob on this show for a long time. I feel victorious today that I've got him on, and he's revved up and ready to go. So I say screw it, bring him on. Let's bring on Rob Bunis from Prime Realty Partners. Come on, bring him in the show. There he is.
Guys.
How are you, brother?
You better be careful bragging me or you might go down with the ship, man.
Hey, you know what? It is what it is, Rob.
I feel like that's my mantra these days. You know what I mean?
Listen, man, it is no coincidence that you really started getting some activity lately in your feeds, and I'm like, Rob, you gotta come on the show now, man. Like,
it's so funny because last week, I mean, I did Jim Butts last week. One of my investor buddies who, we just ran Broad Street. I do stuff with WBG Homes in South Jersey, Santini. We went to college. We didn't really know each other back then, but like I was on his podcast. It's funny. It's like all of a sudden, like all these opportunities are like, hey man, you got to hop on. And I'm hoping it's not because people are like, man, this guy's super controversial on Facebook. I try not to push buttons, but sometimes like people are like, they comment. It is what it is. I get a little too excited. Whatever.
Well, listen, man. I'm gonna build up to that, okay. and I'm gonna let you do whatever you want with it. How's that? Right?
I love it.
Yeah. Like that's my thought. Like I'm gonna let you be you, and if you want to make light of it, we will, and if we want, we won't. That's all.
Dude, I love talking about social media.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's built my business, and here's the funniest thing about it. I'm sure you have a couple things you want to ask me, but I'll keep this part brief.
Hey, Rob, do your thing, bro. I'm just gonna Michelle. What's up, Michelle? The best. If you have a pool that you want to make cool, call Michelle. How's that sound? You like that?
I like that. That's got to be her new slogan.
Bruno, what's up, buddy? How's Florida treating you? You're probably sizzling like hot as hell there now.
Oh, anyway. I'm sizzling here, man. I walked outside a pair of jeans today, and I immediately regretted it. I was like, what am I doing?
Dude, honestly, screw this damn weather. Like, this is ridiculous. It really is. Right. But go ahead. You were going to go off, so I'm going to shut my mouth. Let me put myself on mute. Go ahead, bro.
Here we go. And I apologize because right now, like, doing renovations in the back room, so I don't know what people can hear. So
I'm on mute. So, dude, go ahead.
All right, guys. So here's my theory on social media. I'm going to go from like A to B, right? You got to be politically correct sometimes. You got to be like also a little edgy. But here's the thing. You got an audience, right? So you got to try and captivate everybody. And some of it's going to be positive. Some of it's going to be negative. But if the one thing you have to embody about that is yourself. You got to be authentic and genuine. So you have to pay attention to your audience. At the same time, you have to understand you're not going to be liked by everybody, and not everybody's going to like your content. But that audience is going to be the fuel. What you're throwing out there into your world is the fuel to your business, and that doesn't really matter. The
metaverse. Is that what?
Yeah, right. Except less fake and with a lot more consequences.
Wait, is this the real Rob or is this the NFT Rob?
Yeah, I don't know. The NFT Rob. Yeah. They would completely delete me from the digital universe.
You know what? I'm gonna make a Bunis coin. I wonder if we could sell that. What do you think?
I would buy it. If you did that, I would buy it. I would buy it.
All right, listen. I want to go back old school. So, are you Jersey boy like through and through? Where'd you grow up?
Dude, when you say Jersey boy, you know what I think of? I think of like DJ Pauly D in a blowout.
You know what's funny? I think of the guy who's the doo-wop. What's the show? The Frankie Valli.
So yeah, all right.
Yeah, that's what
Jersey
I think.
boys, like
Jersey boys. Yeah. Grab a few drunken. Look at you, Bruno. I swear, Bruno lives the life. By the way, man. Yeah, I know, Bruno. I know. Throw it in our face,
baby. Let's go, Gym Tan Laundry. So I'm all about the gym. I don't like doing my own laundry, and I've never tanned.
That's naturally beautiful skin. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Dude, I'm German, Russian, Polish, and Lithuanian, and
wow,
people are like this guy's either Italian or from the Middle East. Like,
yeah.
I got that olive natural complexion, and like I walk out in the sun for a day, and I'm dark.
Yeah,
that is. Yeah.
So where did you grow up?
Cherry Hill, actually. So,
east or west?
Neither, actually.
Neither.
So I got an interesting story, man. So, like,
give it to me.
Maybe not everybody I know, but like I'm one of the more unusual situations. So, young age, learning disabled, so labeled. I don't really like that label, but like they gave me like nonverbal and all this other shit when I was a kid, and that was what I was labeled. So I went to Rose International Middle School in Cherry Hill, and it was 8th grade. I don't want to say I got kicked out. I don't like that term. It was more like I was pulled out of class one day because I was, class clown for years and years and years. And finally they're like, dude, you're not coming back here. So like,
so they did kick you out, bro.
More or less. And I don't really do anything to deserve it, but I, Miss McDonald was a principal at the time. God bless her soul. I wish her the best. I don't know where she is these days, but she basically told my mom, she's like, you guys got to get him into like a private school. So like that was that. I got sent to Burlington, Vermont for a small school, like 200 kids for kids with learning disabilities. Best thing that ever happened to me was co-ed.
Wait, you went to legitimately Vermont? Did you like boarding?
No bullshit, 100%.
Wow.
And what's funny? That place doesn't exist anymore. Supposedly it's a like Catholic retreat or some like religious retreat for like, I don't know. Last time I was up there, I drove campus. I don't know that I was supposed to be there. All I know is that there was like a bunch of like religious things and a bunch of rich people. It was very bizarre. It was very bizarre.
So I gotta set context to this. So sibling, give me siblings. You have siblings?
I got a younger brother.
All right, you guys beat the shit out of each other growing up, or competitive, or what was that like?
More like I was beating the shit out of him. I was a dick. Like I feel like it like it totally suits my Facebook mantra. Like people see what I post, they're like, man, this guy really is an asshole. But it's not at all intentional. You know what I mean? Like I'm not like going out there and be like, man, I'm just gonna be a dick today. I'm impulsive, but like I'm the type of person I'll give the shirt off my back to somebody. You know what I mean? That's just how I am. But like, I come across as one of those people that like if you like maybe not as approachable unless I'm like in a mood where you're like, oh, that guy's, I could go and talk to that guy. But like yeah, I mean, my brother and I, he's finally, crazy story about him, moved to San Francisco. He's now coming back. Way smarter than me. Like, I mean, he's got his doctorate. He's coming back here. He's been doing genetic viral research for like the last 5 years. Like,
wow.
I come from a family of Cornell and Syracuse graduates, and then it was me, the college dropout, that ended up eventually going back because I felt like that was the thing to do. And then like, the rest is history, man. Like
so what was family like? Are you guys super tight growing up? Like, what was the family dynamic?
Man, my family's just as fucked up as everyone else's family.
That's a good answer. You know what? At this point, that's normal. So if you say your family's normal, you just think they're fucked up.
Right. So in truth, like growing up, it was interesting. So like, you come from Cherry Hill and most people are like, oh man, they're rich. They got money, So dad's an attorney. Mom worked when I was younger, but my grandfather had a kitchen bath wholesaler in Philly. diagnosed with cancer, passed away, business sold for significantly less than what was anticipated.
Wow.
My mom, for the most part, took care of my brother and I, while my dad worked really long days.
What kind of an attorney was your dad?
Accident defense. So nothing special. He's a partner in a firm, but it wasn't like, people think, oh, attorneys, they make so much money. But like, dude, billable hours go up so much every year and you're not making any more. So I mean, he made six figures, but like, it was enough to get, between me getting sent away to school and college tuition, all this stuff, sending two kids, on one income, you're talking 2000, to 2010, it was still really expensive. So like, now
how much is private school? I don't even know, dude.
Dude, I know that my parents fought Township Cherry Hill for a little while in order to get some
Facebook. Did you see we got an anonymous?
I saw that. They didn't want to know who
I've never gotten an anonymous. Rob, I've done a solid 100+ shows. I've never gotten an anonymous.
It might be one of my haters finally being like, oh man, he's not that bad. No.
Anyway.
Who knows? I'm just kidding. So like, I don't know. To be honest with you, that's not something that my parents don't.
I'm just curious. I don't even know. Yeah.
Look, I know that my Cornell tuition, because it's out of state, probably like $50,000 a year. So let's say 200,000.
All right. So give me, so I always build up to the personalities, right? So why are you the way you are? Like
that's a great question. Yeah. I love that. I love that. So like, dude, this may be the coolest interview I've ever had because of the fact that like you're actually asking like questions.
What is this, Jason? What the hell is it? All right, I'm not gonna pay attention. Sorry, go ahead.
Wait,
sorry.
No, listen. When it says Facebook user, it just means that they're not either your friend,
right,
or they have their profile is set to private or friends of friends.
All right. Well, I've never seen that before, and if it's Zuckerberg, I'm going to jail too.
Oh God. Yeah, they're gonna cut this off in the middle of the interview.
Yeah.
They're gonna be like,
this is the best show that ever happened to Facebook.
Right? Exactly. Yeah. Oh wait, you just called it Facebook. It's Meta now, so you've got to
whatever the hell it is. Yeah. It's something we all can't live without. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, you're not kidding. Oh my God, this is the new drug.
Yeah.
It's not new. It's been around for a long time.
Oh yeah.
I forgot what we were talking about.
You're saying it's a cool interview. It's I want to. All right, for lack of a better term, you're exuberant, you're extroverted, you're confident. Yeah. I'm giving positive things because look, this is not let's shit talk Rob. Like I want to. You're good at what you do. I want to dig into that. Yeah,
dive in and you want to understand why. So like so I think it was just because of the adversity that I faced my entire life. I never was really given like the praise, hey, you're doing a good job, or like you were, you're doing what's intended. You're doing what we expect of you, right? I was always a black sheep per se. I'm the oldest cousin out of all my cousins, and I was the first one expected to graduate college, but I dropped out of college. Before that, I was, I was the black sheep of all my friends. I was the one always getting into the trouble and blaming other people, doing stupid shit. You know what I mean? And moreover, like as a kid, I think I gave my mom like so much grief, just not knowing that it was a pain in the butt for her bringing me up. Like I was always in trouble. I was always in a position where like there was nothing to praise me about. So
if you were to go back into your mind then, right? Why were you doing that stuff? I'm just curious. Like what do you think? What was the reason?
I'm going to give you the typical ADHD answer.
Yeah.
Disinterested.
Okay.
You think about it. Like, the kids that are class clowns and like that, when they get out of school, you usually find that they were actually a little bit more intelligent. I don't want to say that. That's this condescending to people, but like.
No, it's not. It's actually not condescending because you know what it is? When you get labeled, all the positive shit gets covered up, right? And I've got a kid where my kid's 5 years old. I don't know what's going on. One day he's good. One day he's all over the place. Yeah. The kid, my wife and I look at each other. I'm not even kidding. This is a dead honest story. He's in freaking pre-K and they're giving us all this shit. And I look at her. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what's going on. So I'm telling you this because you literally being labeled that way, you get all this other bad shit, right? Why can't you be intelligent? Why can't you be successful? So that's good. That's a good thing to talk about. It is.
I mean, look, I didn't do a lick of homework until I got sent away to boarding school.
Yeah.
That means like almost three quarters of my educational career.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't care, and it was because I wasn't interested.
And some people have a legitimate reason though. And I'm being honest, this is not your reason, but some people are like, my parents were assholes, so I decided I want to defy them, or you understand what I'm saying. I just didn't know if there was a reason.
No, totally. My parents did everything within their power to raise me the right way. Yeah. At a certain point, like they realized I needed additional coaching help, mentorship, all that stuff, right? So when I got sent away, I think, and this is what did it. I think, ninth grade's technically middle school, right? Ninth, 10th, you're right. So get sent away to boarding school. Actually, it was 8th grade. So it was 5 years I was at this high school.
Yeah. And
walked onto the basketball team, walked onto the soccer team, walked on all these things, right? And that became my hyper focus. Like I lived, breathed, slept sports. And I finally realized that my outlet for everything wasn't being taken advantage of.
That's cool.
And that I think is the main reason that.
Were you conscious of that at that age, do you think?
No. And honest answer. So you got to also remember, so I don't know how old you are, Chad, but I'm 34. So
I'm 40 on Sunday, bro.
Dude, that's still young. So it's still really young.
Damn it! Don't wish me happy birthday.
It's still so young. It's still so young, right? So like me, 34. I mean, I don't know how if you were old enough to recognize this when I was going through it, but like there was an era where students were just over medicated, right? Like here's the plan. We're gonna put you on X, Y, and Z because it's what helps. There wasn't, and still, I mean, look, I've been on Adderall for years, right? It may take 20 years off my life. I have no idea. But, I was over medicated on all sorts of stuff, man. And that's why I wasn't cognizant. I had a mission. I was a machine. I was going to work out 3-4 hours a day. I was going to get my stuff done, go to coaching, get my mentorship on education, go to bed. And that's what I did. 5 years of my life, dude, gone. And I came out of that coming home better. Finally, when I got there, I was reading on a second grade level. Just you would never expect that. Now you look at me and I'm like, dude, holy shit, how did I get here? But that got me to the 14th, 15th percentile in the 9th, 10th grade education group, so that when I got to the point where I was a senior, I was at the same level, if not further on than other people. On top of that, I was forced to become independent. I was doing my laundry by myself by a very early age, doing all the things that I needed to do myself with no parental oversight. Obviously, there was residential instructors, like a college there, that were kind of coaching and mentoring, but the expectation that was you were going to get your shit done, and you didn't have a choice because it was do or die there. If I didn't get my shit done and get my shit together, nobody was going to hold me accountable. So when I got sent away, I realized that was what I got to do. Now, don't get me wrong. I've always been a party animal, not that much these days, but I leave high school, go to college, Green Mountain College.
But before we leave high school, before we leave it, that was a good synopsis. Is there any crazy, cool, interesting stuff you want to tell us? Because I didn't grow up in that environment. So what was it like being in a boarding school? Was it all dudes?
Dude, I don't know how many people are watching this that want to hear this. Co-ed.
It was co-ed.
It was co-ed.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Right. So it was co-ed. I mean, dude, I got good and bad stories, man. I mean,
you don't have to share them all. I just want to,
I mean, I'll share a quick insight on both. So you're going to a new place. There's not that many people there. You're limited on the number of relationships.
Was it a mix between privileged and derelict? I was going to use the wrong word. Misfits or whatever the word. What's the word? Outcasts. So was it a mix of I'm going to use this to get to a better school, or people that were there for your reason? Like, what's the, you know what I'm saying?
That's a twist on that.
Yeah.
So it was misfits and people that no, first off, nobody wanted to be there.
Yeah.
Nobody wanted to be there. That's the first and foremost, nobody wanted to be there. But yeah, kind of. So like a lot of the people that were there came from very wealthy backgrounds because it was a pretty well-known school for kids with learning disabilities, and there's only a handful of them in the entire country. And this was at the time one of the best on the East Coast. And the other part of it was that, you know, the people that had a lot of money would also send their kids there that may have had issues that were beyond just like a learning disability. It might have been behavioral. So like, I was there with a bunch of people that, you know, weren't necessarily the best, you know? So like,
this wasn't like a cruel intent, because I'm being honest, I can only use what I see on TV. I know Cruel Intentions. I know School Ties with Brendan Fraser and the football. There wasn't any of that shit.
No, it wasn't like it wasn't like Adam Sandler in The Longest Yard. Okay. So,
Yeah.
Oh god, there was no football team. So no, generally speaking, man, like the best part about it is I got some of the best coaching and mentorship, and I learned to socialize there, and that was the key foundation, I guess, growing everything else in my life. And when I left,
dude, I mean, that's but all joking aside, right? Like all joking aside, we were about to braze over that. That was your pivot, dude.
100%.
Like that school was your pivot.
Yeah. And what's funny about it is like there's also I've had another pivot too. I'll get to in a second.
Yeah.
Let's breeze through the next part to that.
Yeah.
So I transferred to the hippiest college probably in the entire nation, Green Mountain College. It's no longer there.
Ben and Jerry's University.
Oh my god, yeah, more or less, dude. Except way more weed. Let me just put it that way.
Less ice cream, more weed. Yeah.
You know what's funny? I somehow got through high school without smoking any weed.
Right.
And then I got to college, and it was like 420 people. The teachers were walking out the steps of the classroom smoking with the students. It was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. That I made it there for a month and a half before realizing I don't know the college is for me. So I ended up leaving. I go home.
So what made you so give me that experience. So you're going to school. Like when do you like at what point do you say that? What are you seeing that's saying like this ain't for me?
As much as I had already learned from high school to get myself on the next reading level, I was at a liberal arts college, and it was a lot of reading and writing, and I hate reading and writing, unless there's like it's intentional, right? Like I'm very intentional about everything I do. So like for me, I think then I wasn't ready to settle down and do it.
You weren't ready to commit to it. I get. You know what? Let me tell you something. Man, props to you for that, because you could have just wasted more money and more time. I mean, the fact that you realized that early, that's good.
Yeah, 100%. So I drop out, go home. I had animosity because I never wanted to go away in the first place. So all these years got, all this animosity built up. Parents weren't getting along with me. I moved out, destroyed my first apartment, like partied. It was like no security deposit given back whatsoever. It was
what town was this?
Marlton Meadows. Shout out to anybody who owns that right now. I'm so sorry for whoever renovated that condo. Like that was ridiculous. But yeah, so that's actually right around the corner from my parents' house. I was like,
Marlton Meadows.
Where's the closest place that I could live just in case I need to go home? You know what I mean? So that was that.
What were you doing to pay rent?
I had a number of jobs. One of my first jobs back. I worked at this cabinet shop off Atrium in Cherry Hill, off Route 70, by like where the TD Bank, the big commercial, used to be the headquarters. It might still be. I don't even know, but it was like right back there. I did that. I had a job at Sinorama. I delivered fucking pizzas. Like, dude, whatever.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. I could see the pizza delivery thing now.
Well, at 21, half that money would go to rent. The other half would be spent on weed and beer. Like Like,
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, look,
you know, you had a good time.
that's part of growing up. That's
Right.
that's your baptism, bro. It's
Yeah, exactly,
adult
exactly,
baptism. Yeah.
exactly. So yeah. Except I was baptized with fire. If anybody is,
Yeah.
as a fellow Jew, like I married Irish Catholic. So like
I married Irish Catholic.
dude, high five, dude. Yeah.
Come on, bro. We know what.
Dude, I don't know who partiers, harder, the Catholics or the Jews. Or the Irish or the Jews.
It's probably the Jews that want to be Catholic.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's just so funny. But yeah, so I get back, all that happened. The next pivotal moment was definitely when I went to Stockton, right? I went to liberal arts college. Went back to liberal arts college in 2010 2008 in Vermont, Landmark. Now this is the most pivotal moment in my entire life. So college for specifically learning disabled kids, right, or people, adults. I, for the first time in my life, grasped I need leverage. I can't get to the next level by myself. I was one of the only students that was there out of the 600-700 kids, small college, that like didn't party like an animal at that point. I had a good time, but like my focus was to get my shit together.
Yeah.
Was there for 2 years, did it, transferred down to Stockton, finished my undergrad there, political science degree, focused in environmental studies. Then left there, obviously I moved back, was commuting there. My parents and I are cool at that point, moved back into their house, finished school, start my master's while I'm finally seeking a job in the environmental field. Took me a year to finally find something because that was 2012 when I graduated, and that was like 2012, 2013 was like.
So you have a master's?
I'm halfway through, to be honest with you.
Oh, nice, man.
When people ask, I'm just like, yeah, I don't really like go into it because it's one of those things where for your kids, you never want to be like, yeah, I didn't finish. So at some point, I'm probably going to go finish it. I got 6 classes left. It's stupid for me not to
That's
finish.
awesome, man. Good for you.
So like I'm there. I don't know what it would be a fallback, but I would never get out of real estate. I'm like too deep at this point.
You don't need a fallback, bro.
No.
Come on.
No, so yeah, man. So I think the pivotal moments of my success were always just jumping in and absorbing all of. I've been an observant person my entire life. I learned from my own lessons, which there are plenty of mistakes I made, and I watch other people and take what works for them that I like, apply it to my own business and my own lifestyle, and that's what's really driven me to what I do now, man.
I mean, but think about that for a second, right? So for me, it's like not everyone can get inside their own mind, can be conscious, right? Conscious of what's going on. Yep. You did it. You use it to your advantage. You figure out how you operate internally, right? And then you translate that into a successful career. Now that's something, man. That's something. Most people, or I would say the average person, they just do shit. They don't even think about it, right? Yeah. They just do it. And sometimes you get into something so far in, you're just like, you know what? It's too late. I'm 50, and what the hell did I just do?
I'm gonna correct one thing that you said. You said career. You said career, right? So for most people, that's what it would be. I've found a way to do. This is a hobby for me, but I do it so well that I can survive and then some off it. So it's put me in a position where like I can give back and help other people, which is one of what I before would have been like just one of the things I could hope to do. And I've been able to translate that into real stuff through dedicating my time to community service or donating money. Like I enjoy that kind of stuff. And it's stuff that I only could have wished to be able to do growing up with like certain role models in my life that I was watching do that stuff all the time. Now I can finally do that and still pay my mortgages, plural, because I have rental property and I'm flipping houses and stuff. So like I can do all these things now without having to stress about how they're going to get paid for. But on top of that, I thoroughly enjoy having conversations with my clients and customers, friends and family, anybody who wants to take my ear for a minute to ask for advice or help. Like I coach and mentor people, not just in real estate and help them buy or sell houses, but I got people and friends that are starting businesses. Like my buddy called me today. My buddy Ray called me today, and he goes, dude, listen, they're going to dissolve the one LLC and open something else. I'm like, what are you going to do? and we're talking about it. He throws an idea at me, and I'm like, dude, that's a good idea. Like, I would totally support that. It's a clean out company. I have clean out clientele, but I'd much rather build with my friends. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So when somebody comes to me and they say, hey, what do you think of this? Do you think it's a good idea? I'm going to do it. My other buddy, Mark, who's now my partner on the flip, I was going to do a post about this today. I might as well just say it on this interview. Like, so we literally just closed on 209 Bradley in Haddon Township today. It took me 2 years to tell Mark, who's now my partner on a lot of my business stuff, that not Mark Ricci, by the way, Mark Ricci and Mark Dugan, two different people. Mark Dugan reached out to me because of a friend of ours made a connection. Mark was like 20 years old, not 21, 22. And he needed to buy a house, and he had the money. It was cash. And this is back when you could buy a house in Barrington for like $90,000.
Yeah.
It's 5 years ago. Crazy times, man. I wish I had the money to buy everything then. So I rep him. He buys his property. I lied through my teeth, man. I faked it till I made it. Yeah. That was the first transaction I'd ever closed. He's one of my best friends. And, you know, we're probably going on a vacation together in the near future with our wives. Like, we own rentals, a couple doors together, and now we're flipping house together. A second house we flipped together. Like, you know, things come full circle. But my point of that was that, like, you know, I coached him to. I'm so proud of the fact that I would never listen to my advice, man. But what's funny about it is that, like, the more I advise other people, like, I don't see myself as a successful entrepreneur because I see everybody else around me and they're like doing big things. But I'm I'd had a conversation with Mark Ricci about this last night. Like, it's so funny the way that you perceive yourself. Like I was having, because of the social media stuff the last couple of weeks, not even the last couple of weeks, it's been the last week and a half. Like I've like really tried to hunker down and solidify the fact socially that, like, other people's opinions of me matter only to a certain extent. Like, I don't care about Facebook. I wouldn't have it if it wasn't for business. And like, you know, that conversation with Mark basically went, like, I was having a breakdown last night, man. He was like, dude, you deserve a leadership role that you have. Like, I for so long, I think this has to do with my entire life and the path I've been on, never being praised as a kid because I was always in trouble. Like, once you get to a level where, like, you've earned other people's respect, you almost don't want to give it to yourself because you're so freaking used to like just not having what you have.
That's crazy, though. It's crazy.
So I know that's a crazy way to think about it, but like,
yeah, crazy.
I literally had a breakdown last night because of some stupid shit that was actually posted on the post that you put up about this. And I was looking forward to this interview, and like that like bummed me out. There's people who I blocked for good reason. Like, I don't care if they see this. Like my mentality is simply this. Like I want to be friends with everybody, but I also have to cut out negativity from, like, Facebook for me is how I tap into my sphere and how I keep in touch with a lot of friends. People, not everybody's going to like or dislike what I post on there. But at the same time, if there are people, you know, it's not me trying to like shut people's voice down by deleting somebody from Facebook, but it's the negativity brought on. There's a guy that I like, and I wanted him to paint my house, but he kept like posting some stuff that I thought was like annoying as hell. I'm like, dude, I don't feel like going on Facebook and seeing this on every post that I make every day. So sorry, buddy, you're gone. You know what I mean? It's that mentality. It's like, get rid of the negativity, positivity, and I'm like trying to readapt my vision for like myself now that I'm finally realizing that my voice actually matters a little bit more than I really thought. Because
you weren't giving yourself the credit. Yeah. Because you're just so accustomed to
I'm so accustomed to be shit on, man. Like my entire life. And nobody did it intentionally. Partially my fault by just not like taking life by the horns and being like, you know what, the first half of my life, I felt like I didn't waste anything. It wasn't wasted talent, but I was finding myself, and it took a lot.
But that's the thing. It was important because you were finding yourself, right?
Yeah.
Like I would never, none of it's a waste, and you're still young as shit, dude. I mean, you're young. Come on, bro. Like, get out of here.
But that's that whole, like, that's that. I keep cursing on here. I don't know if
I don't care.
So it's a bit of it's a mind fuck, right? So like,
I don't care. Yeah,
the cards I was dealt like created this mindset that I've had to completely reverse.
Yeah.
Right.
I get it.
You have these setbacks because you're so used to one thing.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden all these good things are happening and you're like, I don't know how to comprehend this or like process it. So you're like pissing some people off and not pissing other people off. And, you know, at a certain, I'm sure like 2 years from now, I'll be completely grounded and people are going to look at my Facebook and they're like, oh my God, this guy's a whole different person. And I'll lose some people along the way. It's just how it works. You know what I mean?
Well, the key too, Rob, is that no matter where you are in life, you have to be willing to take a piece of humble pie, no matter who you are, right? And you got to learn from it. So like, I do it, dude. I do it. Everything's cool, and I have a shitty day, and all of a sudden I'm an asshole to somebody, and they're like, I get it. Like I get it, dude.
So much shit for doing this interview. It's not even funny.
Yeah, whatever. So it's but I do. But I want to, whatever. What's it make it? Whatever, dude. Like, let me ask you this. I want to go back. So let's get into the thick of it, right? Yeah. Because the reality is, dude, forget all that other BS.
Yeah.
You're freaking rock star real estate. I want to talk about that. Like,
let's talk about it.
It's my business. Like, it's my interest. I like it. I love seeing what you're doing. Regardless of the negativity, you're kicking ass, and I want to talk about it. So tell me how you got into it. Like, let's start from day one.
Yeah. So a lot of people don't know about me. I kind of started on the property management side. So my uncle broke a record for R&B Enterprises. Recognize those initials? That's my initials. So R&B Enterprises handled all of his real estate and stuff in Philly, some other stuff, and it was a segue into a donation of real estate.
So time out. You did property management in Philly. What parts of Philly, bro?
Well, man, you're like hoping to get some dirt here. No, it's not the bad parts, man. So my great uncle owned the Alexander Inn, which is like a boutique hotel, and a number of properties in the neighborhood.
Okay.
And
the Washington Square with like 10th and Wash or 10th and Spruce. Like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Spruce Chestnut.
Alexander Inn. That sounds. Is it still operating or no?
So to be honest with you, man, it's a sore subject because I don't know. Not a sore subject. It's like sentimental. I mean, my great uncle. I don't want to go into that whole thing, but bottom line is like, he doesn't want to have a relationship with me these days because the second he thought that I was like doing really well, he was like, I don't need him anymore type thing, which I thought was kind of weird. But like I was handling a lot of that stuff for him during the transition. So he's one of the oldest and original gay philanthropists in Center City, and Philadelphia Award recipient. A big deal. I could go into other things about him that people would go and look him up. If you're curious, Google Mel Heifetz, Heifetz. One of my mentors, and probably wouldn't be where I am without him. Even though I only had a brief relationship with him for a couple of years, it's the one relationship with anybody in my life that I think had the biggest impact. He ended up never like directly teaching me, but I like I said, observant. I would watch and I would see, and I was involved in the property management company, even though it was under my name as owner. He was broke a record of it, and we would handle all the properties in Center City, not Center City, but that is technically the Center City neighborhood area, and we would we transacted with the Philadelphia Foundation. The Philadelphia Foundation essentially opened a trust for all the money when it was sold, and opened a trust fund that. Obviously interest is gained each year, and then all the money on top of the donations made are donated to LGBTQ charities each year.
Wow, that's cool.
So that was my first bout. Now I'd had my license already midway through that. So it was only in Jersey at the time. I didn't have PA. You don't need a license. You need a license to do certain things. So obviously there were certain things I wasn't doing while working at the working the property management company, but I had by that time already started to really find my rhythm. So in 2016, this is actually a funny story. So 2016, I get married September 24th, 2016. I was working my full-time gig while doing the property management stuff was environmental science. I worked for Realty Environmental. I think it was like a year and a half, 2 years. I had already been in that field for 7 years. I was technically my occupation name was environmental scientist, which is more or less a glorified trench digger. That's pretty much what it was. Like I was out doing dirty, taking samples of contaminated water and soil and all this stuff, but it gave me the foundation for due diligence and environmental inspections and the home inspection period, which technically was on the commercial side. So I've got all this knowledge from the commercial side that I'm applying to the residential side now, even though I do both. I ended up going from that to telling my wife on Valentine's Day of 2017 that I'd quit my job without consulting her. So,
woo! Irish, here comes the Irish.
Hey, good job, baby. Let's go out to dinner. Yeah, so that was that, man. I walk in one day and I'm like, hey, babe, Jen just quit my job. You what? Like we talked about my like I didn't want to be there anymore type thing. I'm gonna try real estate, but like yeah. that happened. That happened. At the time I was still, my uncle and I were still in talking terms. So he was supporting me a little bit and giving me a little bit of assistance. But at the same time, when I jumped into things like, dude, it was all or nothing. Like I was going to either make this work or it wasn't going to work. I remember Jen got on the phone like that night with her mom and Jen's mom goes, yo, he did what? Like, that's never going to work. He's never going to make it. He's never going to make it. So that was funny. But like Mark, not to go back to Mark. Yeah. Mark Dugan, one of my best friends now was my first transaction. And we weren't even best friends then. We didn't know each other until February of 2017. Yeah. And dude, either I'm a really good people person or liar. I don't know. Like, not liar. I had all this as an investor, he was buying something that he could flip in a couple of years. He was looking for somebody that had the knowledge of what you find in a house that was old, right? So I would go in and I'd be like, look, dude, this is why this isn't a good investment. Like I had all this applicable knowledge to what you do as an agent. And I was able to just go from environmental directly into real estate and crush it. And that closed his deal and then it was off to the races. I think I closed like 18 deals for like 2.5-3 million in my first year. Wow. And
how'd you build it? What were you doing? How are you getting your business?
Dude, that's a great story. You want to hear some good ones?
Yeah. So, that's the point of the show, man.
Yeah, so this is the funny. So let's start with one. So that
you weren't the cluck you chicken guy on the
dude, actually that would be great. Somebody give me a Ronald McDonald costume and I'll stand outside of a McDonald's and like throw a sign in the air. Buy a house from this guy. Yeah. So one of the best stories of my first year. So I used to go on Craigslist and I would go on Facebook and social media tools. And what I would do is I would go on the MLS, find out how many rentals in a certain area. And I would say, 13 rentals available between $1,500 and $2,500 in Cherry Hill or Haddonfield, wherever. Right. And I would plaster this shit all over Craigslist, man. Now I would get some of the most ridiculous calls ever. Hey, Rob, this is so-and-so from like South Philly. I'm looking for a house in Haddonfield, 3-bedroom, 2-bath. I got a $1,200 budget, 400 credit score. Like, I'm like, oh man, how do I like politely let this guy down and say like, there's no way I'm going to fucking be able to help you. So these are the conversations that I'm having with people. And it like, that's when I realized, I was like, all right, like I'm generating the leads. Now I got to figure out how to get more consistent with the right clientele. Uh-huh. And I made so many mistakes doing that. I had an auto dialer and that auto dialer, right? I was dialing expireds. I was dialing Sphere. At one time I figured out how to download everybody's contact information from Facebook. So sorry, Facebook friends. At one time I was a stalker on all your pages. No, so I was calling those numbers like religiously. People that I didn't even know personally on Facebook. I had their phone number and it was in my auto dialer. I would use a triple line. You're not supposed to. Don't tell anybody I said that because the triple line calls the no call list sometimes by accident. Yeah. You're not supposed to do that, but I would triple line it, Vulcan 7, and I think I used a couple of other ones at some point, and I would get appointments with people, and a lot of them were busts, but I would go through the motions. And here's the thing: what do all the bigger brokerages tell you to do? Cold call, door knock, all this crap that you don't want to do that works, but not at a high rate. So like I was putting all this energy and time into things that weren't necessarily the best and most efficient use of my time, and I did it thinking I was going to make money.
Yeah.
Lucky for me, I'm very good as a person talking to people, so I have a higher conversion rate than most. So I still was able to probably close 3 or 4 deals. Where I got most of them was open houses. So I would go and do 2 or 3 open houses a weekend. People like, dude, how the hell did you fit 2 in a day? I would do 10 to 12 and then 1 to 3. I would literally run to my car, pick up all the signs as quickly as I could, drive 15 minutes to the next house, set up, do all this stuff. The night before, I'd be out hanging flyers, knocking on doors, all this stuff. And like I got leads. Like some of my good close sphere contacts on Facebook right now are people that I've met doing that kind of stuff. And like, word of mouth spread that like I would do anything. I would do anything for a deal type of, mantra, but like I fight for my clients. And unfortunately, sometimes my colleagues don't like the way I go about it. But like my whole thing is, you're smart or you're not. You got to do what you have to do to get your client to the table. I bought refrigerators for people. I've cut commission for people. I've done whatever. This is a volume game. So you do whatever you have to do. And that goes for lead generation. You got to do some ugly things in order to get deals sometimes. I one time got a lead through Zillow. And I have Zillow for the team. I don't take the calls anymore because like that's for the team. But back before it was for the team and I had a team, I was taking these phone calls, and I don't like the buyer's agreement, the exclusive buyer's agreement, because like I don't like locking people in and feeling like they're pressured to use me no matter what.
Do people really use it? I don't even see it. Is it used that often? Is it really?
A lot of brokerages tell you that you have to have it done. This is the broker me talking. Like you have to have it because it locks you in with an actual brokerage.
Yeah.
It's the number one page of paperwork locking you in with a company, except for the consumer information statement that needs to be presented before any other documentation, right? So not to talk about that too much, but
it's fine.
So in doing, I'm so ADHD. What was I just now saying?
No, you were just talking about how you don't like the buyer's agreement.
Yeah. So the buyer's agreement like locks people in, and I feel like it pressures people to use you.
Yeah.
My mentality is like, you're either going to use me because you like me, or you're not going to use me because you don't like me. So my whole thing is on first, whether it's warm contact, cold contact, referral. My whole thing is I want to go and have a conversation with somebody, be real, genuine, authentic. And if they don't, we may not be a good fit. I'm not always a good fit. I'm outspoken. Some people don't like that. So like you got to mesh, right? You got to interview, and it's as much of an interview when I talk to new clients as it is for them to meet me. And in doing so, I just feel like the buyer's agreement forces somebody to work with somebody before they really get to know them.
I mean, look, I'm not on that side of things, but I'm going to be totally honest. I think it's bullshit. I think it's bullshit because at the end of the day, they either don't want to do business with you or they won't. I mean, same shit happens to me, dude. We dance. I give them 16 million sheets and approvals, and they're like, I just called Quicken and they beat you by 2 decimals. I'm like, listen, bro, if the 2 decimals are going to do it, have fun, and they will not close on time, and don't come running to me.
my favorite is, was it Rocket, where they're like, you got to pay $500 up front for like us to do anything with you. And then by the time I go to send them to the lender that actually gives a shit about them, they're like, we already paid Rocket $500. I'm like, guess what? That money's gone.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know what to tell you. Like you could use them, but you're never going to close the deal. Like, I tell you. Like, they like fish this really good interest rate out in front of you, and they're like, hey, guess what? Here's another $500.
Oh, yeah. And by the way, you have a pulse. You're approved. I didn't look at your shit, but it's all good.
Right.
Sorry.
And then later on, the lender finds out they don't have a job, right?
Yeah. Oh my God, that was like a buddy of mine put up a meme the other day about how like his neighbor used a different realtor. He's like, congratulations, you should go buy a car before settlement to celebrate.
Yeah, man. So I don't know how much more time we have.
No. We're good, like 6 minutes left, but this is what I want to talk about. So what I like about your story, right, regardless, is you have got no problem with the grind, right? You got no problem with it. And, and I'm sure I'm not going to put words in your mouth, but as you now, or do you and Mark, are you guys partners? Mark Ricci, are you and Mark partners with Prime Realty? Is that, what's the setup?
Not the whole brokerage.
No, okay.
So I'm very familiar with the grind because I've had to do it my entire life, man.
Yeah.
But like so Mark is the broker of record, and he's also the owner of Prime. Now there's an outside investor that is involved as well, but I am 50% partner on the Cherry Hill location.
Oh, cool.
So,
nice.
so that's been since February.
Nice.
I've also got a number of LLCs, 2 different investment companies, my own productivity, my team's productivity, which the team is set up specifically as a mentorship program. So it's not like I'm not one of these teams out here taking 50 to 60% and providing all these tools, but I actually pick up my phone when they need help and I give them leads. So like that's my whole thing is like give back. I don't need that income stream, but it's one of those things where it's like, I'm going to help these agents get a start. And then if they want to go out and build something, I'm going to coach them to make sure that they can do it. You know what I mean? So
that's the part where it's like, this is what I enjoy. So the beginning part of the show is more of the humility, right? Which is like the falling forward theory, right? It's all the shit I go through for me to learn so that I can become who I am. And the reason I'm successful, but what you don't, you discredit because you don't want to, you're not giving yourself the credit. You build an enterprise, right? So what's interesting with real estate is there's so many different paths you can take. Yeah. So you figured out how to build off the ground, how to become a good agent. Once you become a good agent, then you figure out how to do this and then how to do that. And by the time you're done, you have multiple streams of revenue. Yeah. And then what people don't really get is where everything comes full circle is you start those people that you had to spend the time getting as leads become your revenue for long term. And it just starts to become your referral source, right?
Yeah. So like, I mean, I like to, and I think everybody says this, and it might sound cliche, but like my clients and customers have become my friends,
Yeah.
And that always is the case. I've become best friends with some of them. Still, one of the funniest stories to date was back when I was doing the Craigslist thing. Somebody reached out to me from St. Louis, where my wife's from, like down the street almost. And now she's one of my wife's best friends. So I ended up selling them a rental based on one of those stupid little posts I put on Craigslist. And now she's getting married to my best friend.
Oh my God, that's funny, man. Life in full circle, right?
like it's a mentality of always like trying to connect the dots, see where there's a relationship, and helping people. But the point about enterprising myself, like I think it's interesting an interesting perspective because like, hearing somebody else like tell me like when I say what I've done and somebody's like, oh, well, that's what you did. It adds different perspective because you don't usually see things from somebody else's outside opinion. And when they look at me, they're like, oh, well, he doesn't do anything very good. But then I'm like looking at it and like, well, you guys don't know the numbers. Every single one of them's profitable. And, they're all profitable and, well over 6 figures.
Yeah.
Multiple of them. So my whole thing is simply this, like, I like the coaching and teaching. So the conversation when I'm going out and having conversations to recruit agents isn't like, hey, I'm going to teach you to be an agent. No, I'm going to teach you to be a business owner. And then if you're interested, I'm also going to teach you how to invest in real estate. I'm also going to help you set all of your enterprises up structured the right way. All these things that need to be done so that people can take advantage of the tax loopholes, make sure that they're making as much money as they physically can. Taking advantage of their time, using it wisely, time blocking, and making sure that they have time to do everything that they need to do.
I'm horrible at that.
I don't think anybody's perfect at it. I think it's
horrible.
Like, dude, like I was watching something with Gary Vaynerchuk the other day. Like, he puts out his content. I was watching something I thought was cool. He said, I hired a coach for a couple years to work out, actually, just like me. And he goes, I would say he's like 270 days of the year I'll work out, and 270 days of the year I fucking hate it. That's what he said, right? So the problem is always procrastination. Like you can work hard only a certain percentage of the time, and it's not 100% of the time. Everybody fucks off a little bit, and that's just how it is. Like in order to get your peak performance, you need coaches, you need people holding you accountable. You can only be so accountable by yourself. So you have to outsource all that stuff and aligning yourself with people that put you in rooms where you've got bigger fish. Like that's where you're going to grow. I mean, Mark Ricci, bigger fish. I mean, look, I'm going to close more than 20 million in personal volume this year. And like, I didn't realize that until like a month ago. And last night in the conversation with Mark, like, they're not to be like sentimental type shit, but he's like, dude, you've totally earned your place where you are. And you got to fix your mental state so that it reflects that. Because I feel like you're still trapped back like 5 years ago where you were just building and you didn't like some people have told me, Rob, you don't have to work so hard anymore. You know, I will never work any less hard because
I was gonna say, but it's not work for you at this point, right?
Right. And moreover,
I
can't. I think there's a level of expectation of me right now, like, and it's only going to continue to grow. Just like now, I'm realizing that my Facebook presence is a little bit more important in terms of like what I say, because I didn't think that it. Dude, it's like Donald Trump, right? Like, not to I hate comparing myself to Donald Trump at all. But
oh God, this show is really taking a turn.
but what's funny about this analogy that I'm about to make, like, if you look at him and you're like, holy shit, like the shit he says, oh my God, you know, if he was just some random guy, right? That he didn't have the Trump name. He was just some guy, you know, nobody would care about anything that he had to say. Right. I've reached the level in the business where I have to be more cognizant.
Well, because, and let's be honest, you represent a company, right? You're an owner of a company. But it's funny because you think about it, because Rob, part of your success is because you don't think about it.
Well, I know.
But think about it. If you sit back, because everyone's sitting there worried about this bullshit, you're just worried about, how do I keep grinding? How do I keep doing what I'm doing? Yeah. But what's changed in your life is that part of what you want to do is to represent a company you own. And part of what you want to do is to become a leader. And that comes with a public figure, a presence, an image. So it's not, you're not doing it intentionally, bro. Yeah. It just comes with the shit.
It comes with my ADHD and impulsivity background. You know what I mean? That's just what it is. What are you going to do? So I got two more things. I know you've got to wrap this thing up. So I got two more things.
Rob, this is the show. Do it, bro.
I don't even know how long is this supposed to be? First, I was like,
however the fuck long we want it to be. Just go.
So the interesting thing about a little bit of, I'm going to lay some advice on the line for some like agents that are like newer in the business.
Do it, man. Do it. That's part of it. You listen. You don't even realize you're going with the flow of the show anyway. Just rock out. Yeah.
So like the shift. I think the biggest shift. We were talking about like pivotal moments. There are pivotal moments in everything that you do. So the pivotal moments in me building businesses and all that happened when I realized that I was a business owner and not just an agent, right? So when you join a brokerage, you're coined an independent contractor. And that mindset, you join a bigger brokerage and you're like, oh, I'm an agent. They always call you an agent. Nobody ever calls you a business owner. The second I got my license, the first thing I did was open an LLC. The second I opened the LLC, I went to the bank. I used my EIN number, employee identification number, and opened up a business bank account, a business checking account, operating account, as well as tax account and a credit card. Why did I do that? So I could start building credit on the actual business so that when I had income coming in, I could show that income to do multiple things. One, if I ever want a credit line for the business to reinvest in it, I could do that. Three, run other things through RB Redevelopment, which is the agent business where I declare all my income for that. So if you haven't done that as an agent, my recommendation would be to start doing that, because it's going to force you to go and get QuickBooks to balance your books and start budgeting. One of the things that I actually did for that, start building my businesses. For each business, I do that. Even the LLCs, we just bought a flip in BD Real Holdings. We're going to go do that on Monday or tomorrow, whatever you decide. But you do that, and then you start treating everything as a profit loss statement. So you have your expenses, you have your income coming in, and you could play around with the numbers. And every time you have a commission check, agent, the agent mindset is, all right, well, I'm going to save for taxes, then I'm going to pay myself.
Mm-hmm.
What about the business? If you've got a business, you've got to allot percentages, right? So as somebody just starting out, you're probably saving 33% of every commission. That should go directly in your tax account. I would say pay yourself what you want, and the rest of the money should sit in the business account. The reason you do it is you've got to start building that bank account so that you can start reinvesting in marketing and building your brand. The brand isn't just yourself. I mean, obviously, your brand is your is you, but it's also like the brand is also the marketing that you have. Do you do videography? What kind of photos? Are they cell phone photos? Or are they, are you with KW or are you with Prime Realty Partners, Coldwell Bank, whatever it is, right? And you're going to market all that stuff directly to the client base that you want. And that is unfortunately all going to start from the money that you have coming in. And you need to be able to differentiate between what you're going to pay yourself and what you're going to keep in the business. One of the things that I've always done, I've always had a minimum balance of $10,000 in my business account. God forbid there's something that I want to sponsor or I want to go and do something marketing for my business. My credit card, usually I think I have a $5,000 balance every month.
Mm-hmm.
I pay it off at the end of every month so that I can keep the credit on the entity strong, as well as my name as well strong for my own personal credit. But those things are extremely important. Once you get to the point where you have enough money coming in from the business, that's when you got to start saving a little bit of extra money. So you go from 33%, 35, 39 to 40, all that stuff, depending on the income you're coming in. And that's where your accountant's going to say, make sure that you're putting away more money this year. The other thing that I would say is simply that, so again, they're doing renovations in the back room.
That's good. That's cool. Yeah.
So the other thing, like when you're going to build additional income streams, so like you have to think about making sure that you're bringing value. And that's the number one thing when you build a business. So what is your value proposition? You don't only want to have the LLC and your bank account set up and organization to how you're going to structure your next, business, but you also want to make sure you have core values and a business plan. Mm-hmm. One of the things that we do at Prime Realty Partners that I've gotten in the habit of going over with every new agent is sitting down and having that conversation. We really want to hammer home to people, not even just for Prime Realty Partners, but people who are starting a business. Like, you can't just jump into it. Now, I know that, Chad, we're talking about like how I'm like almost a well-oiled machine at this point, and it just comes naturally, and I just do it. You know what I mean? I've got a system that I've kind of memorized. You know what I mean? For somebody who's just getting into it, those things have to be organized. And you can't think of yourself as an agent, and the second you do that, that mindset is going to be devalued significantly, and you're going to be a lot less intentional about everything that you do. There has to be positive habits that are going to really take over your day-to-day business. And I think that the most important thing that everybody struggles with is your time blocking. So your time blocking is a big part of that habit. And you have those healthy habits like time blocking. You're going to be able to get everything that you need to get done each day. And even if that means like you put the kids to bed and you're popping on a laptop at 9:00 at night and jamming out for a half hour. You know what I mean?
I do that every night, bro. Every night. Every night.
Those things need to be done. And the reason they're done is to just make sure you don't miss anything, and those details are extremely important. And
but what I'm hearing from you, which is important, Rob, is that you treat it like a business. Like you do. You respect it as a business so that it continues to do what you want it to do for the future for yourself. And that's one thing a lot of agents don't think. They don't really take into account.
I think that starts with a bigger foundation. I mean, you don't just learn that, right? Like I don't want to, no sympathy fest here. I don't need any sympathy, but I feel like part of it had to do with, again, how I grew up and what I've gone through. It could have been I was one decision away from like ruining my entire life on numerous occasions. So like all I could have done is not, I could very well not be where I am. And everything could be gone tomorrow. I could pass away. A plane could fly into my house right now. You know what I mean? there's so many different crazy things that could happen that this can all be gone tomorrow. So like, I have to make sure that I'm preparing myself to protect my family, my friends, everybody, all my clients, customers. And I take that down to the very smallest task. And that's what everybody should do if they want to, prepare and be prepared and achieve at a very high level. And I think that, in this business, you either have it or you don't. So like, if you're coachable, you need to, as an agent, call somebody who does more volume than you that's made it.
Hell yeah.
Ask them to take a call for your lunch. Like I don't know if you saw the Real Producers magazine article, but Keenan, they send, I don't know, you're familiar with how that works. They send you.
Yeah, no, I know. I don't pay to. So I don't get the magazine, but yes, sorry. Keenan, you do a great job, though.
Keenan, buddy, I never got in the mail a copy. It is what it is. Like I just saw it over at Jim, on Envoy when I did the little thing with Jim Butts and Keenan sent me the virtual. I was like, dude, this is a really well written paper. And I forgot one of the things I said was because they ask you like, what's the number one thing that you could give another agent advice on? And it was like, and I literally said, I'm like, call, text, email, hound the agents that have made it and take them out to lunch and ask them questions. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Because the market's changed so many times over the last couple of decades. We've changed so much in the last 5 years that like ups, downs, right? Now we're in a crazy, even curvier market than I think we might have been in the last 20 years, well beyond before my time. And you ask those agents what they're doing. Like I've already adjusted my business model to cater to more distressed type properties. Very lucky to have gotten picked up by a guy who I'm hoping, is gonna become a real close friend of mine. But a guy, Matt Marinoff. I don't know if you know Matt. He runs RRG, Real Estate Recovery Group, and I got tagged in one of his posts recently, and it was for a listing in Pennsauken, and now he's sending me short sales when like. He needs, help. He's a short sale negotiation company. He really if somebody has a problem, he does a lot of bankruptcy work and stuff like that. He partners with Perlman and working with those guys on a couple of things right now. But then I've also got Justin Johnson, Santini Lancioni. They both have investment companies that I'm doing some stuff with the distressed property wholesale disposition for them. And like that's, I've been in that sphere my entire career. And it, in a certain aspect, when the market started to shift a couple, you could say a couple months ago, is when interest rates kind of, boosted. And I fell into it more. And it was like, depending on what happens in the next few months, I mean, you see, I'm already listening heavy. So regardless of whether or not it's turnkey or not, the adjustment that you have to make in a market like this is to try and stay alive, and you got to be ahead of the curve. So even yesterday, I did PJs with a friend of mine at Washington Township, Keller Williams. Look, not every appointment's about recruiting agents. You got friends everywhere. You know what I mean? But we were talking, and she's like, these are my goals: investing, so on and so forth, lead gen. And she's like, listen, so I'm thinking of getting an auto dialer. And I was like, have you ever done it before? She was like, no, but I think I'd be good at it. My advice was like, before you do that, you're personable, you're great at conversing, you're great at building relationships. Do me a favor and try and double down on that. Reach out to a couple bankruptcy attorneys, reach out to a couple, Google short sale negotiators, Google people that you think you might be able to get business from first before you go and put your eggs in a basket that are going to be a little bit more time consuming than and have a lesser conversion rate than just going and having a good conversation with somebody. And that was the advice I gave. And I think that, like, as a matter of fact, in the last hour, she called me. So I gotta call her back. But that's like the kind of stuff that, when people don't see behind the scenes, they see all this stuff on Facebook. I'm actually fielding phone calls from people.
No, what are we going to say? Go ahead.
Yeah. I'm fielding phone calls from well-respected producers in the business all the time, giving them advice and stuff, answering their questions. and like I just do it because that's what when you're getting close to the top.
Rob, you know why you do it?
I like to help people and
what's the name of my show?
SuperStar.
You're a fucking superstar.
But here's the thing, dude. Like back to like I don't fucking see myself like that, bro. Like that's like.
Well, this is what I'm going to tell you. Right? You left us with a bunch of nuggets, and I'm going to leave you with a nugget, and then we're going to bounce because Jason, my producer, is probably already God knows where. But listen, this was. I'm not going to lie to you. I've done a lot of these shows. I loved it. Please come back.
I would love to.
But what my favorite part is, I'm going to give something back to you. All right?
Let's do it.
Do me a favor. Every once in a while, look in the fucking mirror, bro. Okay? Look at what you've done. Do me a favor. All right?
Yeah.
Please, will you do me that favor?
I can do that. I might get weird. I'll go in the bathroom and take a picture of myself in the mirror, and I'll send it to you.
Rob, it was a pleasure.
Yeah.
Honestly, man, you have so much to give to so many people. If I were a newer agent, I would 100% die to get into your place right now. Tell everyone how they can hit you up. How can they hit you up?
So listen, you guys need anything, just give me a call. My cell is the best way to get a hold of me. 609-220-6311. Usually if I don't pick up on the first ring, it's probably because I'm already on the phone or with a client. So just shoot me a text message if I don't pick up, and I'll talk to you guys soon.
Rob, you're the man. You're a superstar. I had a blast.
Yeah, me too. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Oh, my pleasure. Everyone have a great weekend. And I think a lot of people are going to replay this one, Rob. You're the man, dude.
It's fun. I like having a good time, man. This is fun.
You're the man. All right, buddy. Have a good weekend.
You too. I'll talk to
See
you
you in
soon.
South Jersey. Peace.
Later.